Good morning, folks. Hope you're doing well. We're standing in front of my utility trailer that I use for doing handyman work, because Cynthia was saying, geez, everybody is so amazed with your trailer. Maybe you need to do a video on it and what you've done with it. So this will be a short video just to show the possibilities of what you can do with just a straight utility trailer in terms of making it do what you want. I basically do handyman work around the area here. I basically do everything. So it'd be plumbing, electrical, painting, decks, sheds, all that good stuff. So that just means that I have to have a lot of tools in order to get all that work done. And of course, having a trailer, it always helps to have that organized in such a way that you can get to it quickly and be able to store it efficiently. So anyway, how we started with this was ended up getting a 6x12 trailer in Valdosta, and because the prices were way cheaper down there than they were up here for the similar trailer. So I ended up going with a 6x12 trailer with the point in the front, not the rounded front, and also got it where the axle was sort of in the rear rear three-quarter mark, and that was purely intentional. I wanted the wheels more to the back than in the middle in order to be able to balance things out. Basically, you have a lot of tools in here with heavy weight, such as table saws and chop saws, and I needed to have the room to be able to balance things out. When you're towing something like this, you definitely don't want it being evenly balanced, and you don't want all that weight in the back. You want it to basically sit on the hitch, and you probably want like a 60-40 ratio or something, where you want the 60% toward the front on the hitch, and that just cuts down on sway and everything. There is no sway control on this trailer. I did get it with brakes. So basically, because of the hills and all of the crazy driveways that we have around here, I just thought that it'd be a lot easier on the truck if the trailer had brakes. So we have electric brakes on this. The axle is about 3/4 way back, and in the back, basically we have a drop-down ramp. So of course, usually your two options on this stuff is basically where you have either a swing door or a drop door. And I went with the drop door, figuring that I'd be moving toolboxes out of here and I needed to roll them off. So I definitely did not want to have swing doors where I'd have to lift. As we get older, you get smarter and you try to lessen the impact of this work on your body. I've always been sort of cognizant of that fact. And basically, like I said, you just go with the drop-down door. It's got a small ramp on the back too to get it right to the ground, so it allows you to get your toolboxes and stuff. Now, a couple of modifications that I've done to here is I put LED lighting here up on both sides, and I also have it on the back. Now these are basically running off of 12 volts, so I can run these either off of the trailer or the truck wiring, or I can run it off of 110, and I use a 12 volt adapter to power them. So if I'm at a work site, sometimes in the back 40, no electricity, I can run a small generator, basically power the trailer and all my tools, and run these lights so I have lights to see what I'm doing. So it also helps where I have this configured so it's hooked to the backups. So when I back up in the truck, this light will basically light up the whole area in the back, and the side lights I can turn them on with when I'm backing up my driveway, because it's a hill and I have to back up into the space here, and you can't see because there's no lighting. So I just light this thing up like a Christmas tree, and it helps me to get up the driveway pretty efficiently. So I have, like I said, I have LED lights up on top. on both sides, the door side and the non-door side, and I have one in the back. And we'll head to the inside, drop the ramps, and show you what we got going on here. Okay, here we have it with the ramp drop down. As you can see, there's a piece in the back there that basically allows it to get flat on the ground. And basically added the non-slip strips on there. And as you can see, we have stuff in the back. And of course, my goal with all this was to use all the space that was in here as efficiently as possible. So there is a lot of custom cabinetry, I guess you would say, and basically cubby holes for storing as much as I possibly can for all the different things that I do. So as you can see in the back here, we definitely have some basic stuff. We got some sawhorses and a 10-foot tent along with some levels. And as we work our way in there, you'll see that we have a little workspace back here. And I just figured that it'd always be handy just to have a little space where I wouldn't have to set up a table or anything like that. So we have the table, we have drawers, and then cubby holes for toolboxes. Basically, I have my demo tools in one, and the other one saws and wrenches and all that good stuff in there. In the drawers, I basically equip these things in order to have, and hopefully this camera isn't too shaky, but basically I have a set of sockets and stuff. I had a set of mechanics tools when I work with RVs, and I basically put them in this, since I have two sets, and put them in the trailer here, because you never know when you gotta use wrenches and sockets and stuff like that for lag bolts and stuff. We don't need anything this exotic, but you know, you got everything that you need. And like I said, the cardboard is basically there to keep the sockets and stuff from flying around when you hit a bump in the road and they go all tossed all over the place. And try to keep things in their place as much as we possibly can anyway. And again, you know, it's just a set of wrenches and sockets, stuff like that. Up in the top here, I should head on to the top. We got my track saw and circular saw, the tape measures, and these are basically all the quote portable tools and air tools, nail guns and stuff. I designed this so it has slots in it, so basically I can remove the bottom piece here and then move them dividers to whatever size I need for what I got to put in there. Of course, once you get your tools in there, you don't really change it that often, but the option is there in case I ever need to. So then we have a couple bigger drawers. We have the slim drawers for all the tools, and then these are for more of the catch-all stuff like staples. And of course in the bottom here we have hole saws and drill bits and saw blades and everything else. So we slide on over to this side. Let's see if we can get a look. So again, oh yeah, and we have a small shelf in the back there. Basically that's just paper towel dispenser and bug spray, WD, anything else that I need to pop in there. So then we come over to here, and this is another catch-all, basically dust masks, stuff like that, blowers. Then we have another cubby hole, because I do everything on everything basically. I have containers similar to what I have over here, and I use them, and I basically have like painting stuff in it. I have whatever stuff for concrete work, and I basically just slip the container in here in the hole for what I'm doing. Of course, I have the truck there, I can put more stuff in, but like I said, it ends up working out real well. And over here we have the 7 1/4 inch chop saw, and then we have a portable generator and buckets, because of course you never have enough buckets for when you're painting, or just to, you know, collect trash when you're doing a small demo or whatever. And then I use the back or side over here in order to store extension cords and stands. And again, as you can see, you're using all the space that you can for putting stuff in. Magnetic nail picker upper, the broom. We have all the ladders here. Now, one big improvement that I did in here were these tracks, and I can't remember what the exact name of these tracks are, but it takes all sorts of accessories into the slots here. So, you know, as you can see, they've got a square slot, and it'll take straps, it'll take hooks, it'll take rings, and just allows a great deal of flexibility. In fact, I even have some of the smaller slots here on the floor, and I actually put them in the floor and run them across. So if I have lumber that I would need to lug, I basically put it on the floor, and then I can run the strap from these mounts, tighten it down so it isn't slinging all over the trailer, particularly when you hit the brakes. So I have these tracks, and like I said, I bind the ladders in on this side with the tracks. And again, more cubby space. So, you know, we have the $200 flashlight, and there's one of them rings that I was talking about. And basically I fasten the flashlight with a flexible wire. And of course you use hooks, hang all the extension cords, which you never have enough of. One small modification I did here was I rigged fans on the vents. So there's a vent toward the back of the trailer, and this one in the front. The back is all the way in the back corner. And we'll take a quick walk here, hopefully not get anybody sick. So the fan is right here. So this one sucks in. The other one up in the front blows out. And basically it helps get some of the hot air that gets trapped up in the ceiling. It gets some of that hot air out of here, especially when the sun's really beating on the roof. So as I noted earlier, I have a pointy front on here, not a rounded front. So it just allows me to make better use of the space, and I basically put a table in here to hold the 12-inch chop saw. And the table is supporting the saw, and of course storing more stuff like the compressor, the vacuum, a shelf for extras. And I fasten the saw to the table using U-bolts and wing nuts. So, as you can see in here, baby, there is wing nuts. And I basically just run it around the mount. This is for the stand, and basically just run it through and lock it down. The 7 1/4 inch saw is basically using wing nuts, but bolts, because it goes through the legs of the saw, and I just run it through the wood. And again, that's got wing nuts also. So that takes you to the front, and we got stuff on the walls, of course, trying to maximize that space. And we have the chop saw stand tucked in the corner here, and then we'll roll around past the door. And yeah, we have the whiteboard. I gotta put my latest list of things to do. In the ceiling here, of course, I have all my clamps clamped to the ribbing on the trailer. just trying to take advantage of everything. So more clamps. Sometimes you just never have enough of them. And we have the electrical part. So it comes in through a box over here. I wired that, and it comes in through an outlet here. So comes up, goes up through the wall, goes to the box, and then this is the switch setup that I use to go between 12 volt and 110. So basically the lighting on the outside is all controlled through the switches here. So I can either run it off the truck or run it off of AC. And we have a 110 to 12 volt adapter here. So I can basically power some of the 12 volt things. Now you're wondering, what do I have in the trailer that's 12 volts? Well, if we look up in the ceiling here, you'll notice I have two sets of lights. Right now it's running off the 110, and to the side of it you have these 12 volt lights. So it's very convenient if we're running off the truck. Say you're on the side of the road, you need to get something out of the trailer, or you just want to check something. Instead of being pitch dark in here, you can basically flip the skinny lights on and it'll light up the whole trailer here. Now it won't light up as good as these LEDs will, these big LEDs, but it lights it up so you can see what's going on anyway, and it's very convenient. So like I said, the switching here basically controls the backlight of whether it's going to be running off the 12 volt aux circuit in the truck or the backup. So the light has dual functions basically. So there's more of the Z-Track, or I'm not Z-Track, but I can't remember what it is. But basically, you know, more track. I put one up, one low, and this is the spot where I put the table saw. And I'll pop that in a little later. So we have the ramp, which is again using the track with the rings and a stretchy cord. In the back here we have another slot where I put a 4-foot table and a piece of 3/8, I guess, plywood, so I can put it on top of my table saw and use that as a work surface when I'm at the job site. And we have the tracks for my track saw. And up in, oh, well, let's go over here. We have the a little thing for holding all my batteries. It allows me to keep them organized. So rotate the batteries so we don't overuse one battery over the other. And then we have the cubbies in the top here. And the cubbies is for my tool belt, another tool bag, and then we have the my impact and drill, and we have all sorts of other things. Right hand drills, lights, whatever. So on this side, in terms of storage space, we have enough holes here for 2 boxes, and this would be all the bolts and wall anchors and all that stuff that I have to carry, because like I said, we do everything, so there's a lot of hardware and shims and everything else that I need to carry. Then in this one here, this is all my layout stuff. So when I'm laying out for a shed or something, it's lasers and all sorts of measuring tapes and all that good stuff. Then we have various boxes for electrical stuff, nails, screws, and again, they just all fit in the slots here. There's enough room behind it, so if I want to tuck something behind these boxes, I can do that, and it works out real well. And that essentially is the 15-cent tour of this trailer. But as you can see, I did a lot of cabinetry in here in order to make this work, be efficient. It took about 2 months to design this thing and then lay it out and get it put in here. One thing to keep in mind, though, is when you're laying this out, the trailer may not be built exactly square, so you have to make compensation for that. But like I said, it ended up working real well. I've had this trailer for 5 years, and it's really done its job. I mean, I really haven't had any massive problems with it. I just recently resealed the roof, and painted the bottom. It's got plywood, of course, for the floor. So on the back side there, you just need to protect that from the elements so it isn't rotting on you and stuff, and take care of any possible rust that was happening. But anyway, that's the trailer here. So just to give you an idea what's possible with a 6x12 trailer, and in terms of making it where it can help you get many jobs done if that's what you're doing for a living. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy this. Take care.